Morning, everybody. See a lot of comments about how 8 inches of snow is not snowed in. Well, it's no longer 8 inches, it's about 2-3 inches now. But when you have a truck with bald tires, it is a hockey puck. And you may notice that there is ice underneath the snow. And we had some freezing rain, and then we had the snow on top. My truck is a hockey puck. When I try to start it and try to move it and put it into drive, it just slides sideways because all the land is on a slope, and the truck just sort of slides down sideways in whichever direction the hill is sloped. I'm going to need $1,000 in tires on that truck, and it is a two-wheel drive truck. So everybody just thinks that if you have a truck, you can get through anything. No. Two-wheel drive trucks are not known for driving well in bad weather conditions. And my truck, especially with bald tires, is terribly bad in this condition. So it is not even going out now. I can't get my truck out even now because there's ice and that truck isn't moving anywhere but sideways and spinning in circles. So yes, we were snowed in, and a quarter mile of snow 8 inches deep through grassy meadow on a hill with ice underneath, I call snowed in any place. Somebody commented you were from Michigan and you should, you know, this is nothing. That's true. In Michigan, that was nothing, but in Michigan I had a four-wheel drive. Our truck, the four-wheel drive truck, isn't ready yet. We're repairing it, and it's not legal in the first place, and it's not running yet, so that's going to take some time. So, the greenhouse. Let's go check the greenhouse. I haven't been out here yet. I'm going to come in here and see what it looks like. Well, it feels warmer than outdoors by far. I have to pull back the curtains, and there is ice on the windows, frosty ice on the windows. I don't know if you can see that. I can't quite see what's on the camera. I've had the propane heater on low, right there, the heater buddy. The plants are alive, and it doesn't look like they suffered any damage. The temperature, the thermometer says 37. Now we have a discrepancy here. The little stick-on window thermometer, also Accurite, funny enough, sitting next to the transmitter Accurate, the wireless. The little one says 37, and the other one says 44. So I'm really having trouble out here with thermometers. Accurite is not accurate, I've learned, because their own thermometers are varying greatly between one another. I have two thermometers in the house sitting side by side, and one says 68 and one says 66 this morning. So yeah, Accurite is not accurate, at least in my experience right now, because two thermometers from the same company side by side are telling two different, very, very different temperatures. So I don't know if it's 37 or 44, but it feels like 37. It does feel like 37. It was 17 degrees last night, so it was cold. I can seriously see my breath, but the plants are living, most of them. The peas, Melanie harvested some peas, and she cooks with them. The papaya, oh, I wish she had taken that in last night. I realized I was going to have her take it in because it's not a cold weather plant. It may still recover, but it's not happy out here. I hope it recovers because that's a really cool thing. Anyway, the lavender is growing well. Very happy. The celery is not, because the mouse has been destroying it. The chili peppers I lost because the 3-degree night we had destroyed the chilies. Well, I have learned that unless you have a really good, well-maintained temperature in the greenhouse, you're not going to be able to grow chili. But we've got our herbs. Here we've got, I don't know if that's parsley or cilantro. I know you guys are going to correct me one way or the other. We've got catnip. Believe it or not, there's a succulent houseplant growing well in here. It just doesn't care. There's a rose up there. We've got sage is trying to regrow after the mice ate it down to nothing. We do have the different lettuce plants and the kale and the Swiss chard is all growing well, and different herbs, a lot of different herbs are growing in here. And then I planted in this big chili that died on me. Oh, we lost all our chilies, sadly. They were growing happily, and we lost them all in the cold. I put some dandelions in here, and they're growing. We're going to eat the dandelion. Dandelion is good, solid foods. And Melanie has some other things growing here and there. The mice did a lot more damage than the cold. So the mice are a terrible thing. And I don't care what you say, it's hard to keep a mouse out. It's hard for me to show you, but down in the corner under there's a hole tunneled under the greenhouse to the outside, under the dirt. So it's going to be, no matter what you do, it's going to be hard to keep the mice out. So anyway, we lost a lot. The tomatoes definitely are not going to grow. But this greenhouse is this is my first winter attempt at growing winter food. And I see, for example, peas are going to be great. This one is nearing end of life, though, it looks like. Peas don't last long. But beans are going to provide a long harvest. So I'm going to get some beans going in here again. What was I saying? This greenhouse for me is a learning experience. I'm going to learn what can grow here and what can't. And once I get this airtight and the wind, stop the wind from blowing, then I think we're going to have a good experience here for next year. But I'm getting a lot of flack from people for wasting my time and resources on a greenhouse. Well, you got to start sometime, and I'd rather start now than never. And experiment this year, and then flourish next year. Well, I got to open these curtains, get some sunlight in here, and warm it up naturally from the sun, which is going to do it well. The sun is shining in, and it was a cold night. Look at that. It's actually pretty. But it's not so pretty when it's on your windows of your greenhouse. Well, I don't know if the blankets are making a difference. I think they would be. I'm thinking also about putting a couple blankets on tracks, on runners, on the ceiling. And that would help a lot in preventing heat loss in the winter nights. So, over here, this is the warmest place we have to work on our coffee coasters. And we're finishing up the ones we have for sale. And we have some new ones that Melanie made. I have to put the third coat on them. But out here is the only place really that I can do the varnishing. And it's a dust-free zone, relatively speaking, because the wood shop is very dusty from the work I'm doing. I got some tea lights. By the way, I hope by now, or you will have seen or will see, a video on me using a tea light and holding it in my hand. It's not hot enough to ignite wood, and I'm going to write an entire article on that, which you may or may not have seen by now. So these are all waiting on their third coat of varnish, and then they're going to go up on the website for sale. And then we've got some blank, which I just find are beautiful. The wood grain of them is just beautiful. So, and then there's one with the nail holes in it. I thought that was unique. I mean, you may or may not agree with me, but everybody has their own taste. There's a really beautiful pattern in the wood right there. So these are, I just wanted to leave these as is because I just found them to be really pretty. And we have a bunch of the hardwood. This is the thinner. You can see the difference in thickness and a little bit in width. It's a little bit shorter. But the hardwood pieces, we're going to also do some of them, and they'll be a little bit more in price because they're really hard to work with as well. They're hard wood, but they're thinner, so they'll stack easier. In depending on your taste. I mean, they all stack. Okay, but the hardwood, we're also going to do some wood burning on them later on. It's harder to sand, harder to plane, and harder to wood burn, but they're really beautiful. I like the color and the texture of the hardwood. So we're going to be doing a lot more of them. And I have a lot of blanks up in the tiny house on wheels curing, because I found out that they will warp, and here's what happens if you don't cure them in the house first. You waste your time. They actually will, when they start to cure, if you've made them first and then cure them, they'll split. They just split in half. So that's just a waste of time. And I don't want you to get a coffee coaster that's going to split on you later. So we cure them. It takes a good 2 weeks to get a coffee coaster ready for sale. So there's a lot of time involved as well as work. It's not just the work, it's the time involved in curing the wood, processing the wood, and then doing the artwork and everything and varnishing. It takes me 3 days to varnish because of the cold weather. I have to let it cure for an entire day, and then I can sand it lightly and then do the second coat, and then sand it lightly and do the third coat. And then I take them into the tiny house and then let them cure for 2-3 days upstairs to do the final, the varnish curing before I would ship them out. So it's a long process, but it's beautiful, and I think it's very much worth it. We like it. Melanie really enjoys working with the wood, so that's good. All right, back in the tiny house on wheels and starting the workday. Hey everybody. Well, somebody suggested I reset the batteries on the indoor part of the weather station and everything will be fine. So now it's 102 degrees Fahrenheit and 155 mile an hour wind speed according to this thing. Boy, that's pretty intense weather. 155 mile an hour wind speed right now and 102 degrees. So I don't know what, whoops. Yeah, it's not happy. Not at all. They just lost everything right on camera. And that's how it's been for 2 days. Well, I'm going to go try put in some new batteries again. Some new batteries and see what happens out there.